My bad. I'm having an off night. Welcome to Look Around the Confederation. Well, that stuff happens a lot more than it should. I'm your host, Moose, joined today by the legendary GCB. And before we get started, please remember the views and opinions expressed on this broadcast are not necessarily the views and opinions of the SCV, its GEC, nor in divisions, brigade, camps, or any other subsidiaries. How are you doing, GCB?
Good day, you degenerate Wookie. You owe me $50. Ah,
Didn't think he was going to say that live on air, but here we are.
what?
Mr. John is in the chat. Victor's in the chat. We got some news from him in a bit. See here. Southern Boy is in our YouTube chat, so please remember to share this video. And if you know someone that cannot support us on Facebook, please go over to our YouTube. The legendary Christian Lee is in the chat, along with past Commander-in-Chief Chuck McMichael.
The Lone Ranger.
Lone Ranger. Jesse's in the chat. Corey, Mr. Jeff. We got a lot of good people in the chat tonight, so it's in tune to be a good episode. We got a bit of news.
And you have terrible service and are in the bed.
I'm so happy I invited you on. Tonight's
You
gonna
asked
be
for
more.
it.
Yeah. Tonight's gonna be a little bit of more laid back night. I have a topic that I'm gonna throw out there for discussion, and as long
It's
as
an
the discussion,
abused. It's an
Get a-
abused moose night.
it's Abused Moose Night, which I want to thank. I'm gonna take a fun jab at Victor. Victor, you know, everybody knows on the show I have trouble pronouncing things.
Yeah,
Running
folks.
joke with me.
If this is your first time viewing SCV Chat or Look Around the Confederation or any of the wonderful programs we put out here, Moose is borderline literate.
Yeah, sometimes it gets real bad. I don't think anything's going to beat the time that during the first reincarnation of the show, back before
First incarnation, not reincarnation.
incarnation.
Reincarnation means that something's already dead.
Oh, okay. During the first version of the show, I'll say it like that. We did it in podcast form. We would film it, send it off to edit, and then post on YouTube.
No. Moose, we didn't film it. We just recorded it.
Oh, yeah, we just recorded it. It was going to be a traditional podcast when we first started this idea. It was during GCB's first couple weeks as division commander, God rest his soul. He had to deal with me as his aide de camp. We went on first term, like within the first month is the bad part. And like out there, and we filmed it. And we were going to do a bit of research beforehand. I think it was on Lincoln.
No. You're telling the story completely wrong. God love you, Moose. So it was we were doing it kind of like what SCV Chat turned into, and what Look Around the Confederation turned into. Not so much, things of just a historical topic. We were actually talking about the different facets of the SCV, and we were talking about a father and son duo. I come from a father and son duo. My late father was. Heck, you've watched my commercial. If you're familiar with this, you know everything about that. Anyway, well, Daddy Moose is in the SCV and the camp commander, and many our regular Moose over there is sharing a similar background with that. We were talking about it. We were talking about independent research, and I had just said the word Abbeville Institute. Literally, the words had just come out of my mouth. Hey, Legend Paul Gramley Jr. I just said Abbeville Institute. I've plugged them now 3 times. I'm hoping that we can get somebody from there on the show. Anyway, and I looked at Moose and said, "What places do you like to get your independent research from?" And he looked at me like, dude, you didn't clear this question with me or anything like that. And he goes, I think it's called the Abbeville Institute or something like that. I completely butchered it. I looked at him and I said, "You mean the Abbeville Institute? Yeah, that's a great place. I just said their name. Okay, moving on."
Yeah, and the funny thing is like, again, I think I was home visiting my father.
No, it was summer vacation.
It was summer vacation, so I didn't drive up there because I am a poor little college student, and so I talked my dad into driving up there, and he was going to do some business too. And so Dad's in the back corner on his phone doing work and stuff, texting people, doing I think business outside the SCV maybe. And he just looks up at me. Connor looks up at me, and yeah, Connor just does. All right, we're going to move on. I didn't even get to finish answering the question because of how bad I butchered it and what mouth. I remember just sitting there being like, "Yep, any career I would have in broadcasting and things like that is over, and then I am the host of a show where I get names that I cannot pronounce." But Victor told me how to pronounce in his email the town that his news came from, and so I want to thank Victor. It's become a running joke, a joke that I could very much live without. Victor, I will ban you from the page.
Onomatopoeia.
Yes, happy St. Patrick's Day. That's another thing that went on today. Let's see, be on a reality show, never being on a reality show. But yeah, so that's a great way to get the show started because guess who's probably more than likely going to be doing the news? Yay! All right. So
me?
the first, if I can't pronounce it, yeah, you're gonna step in.
You may want to go ahead and throw it over there too, except for Victor's, because I didn't have access to the email. I've been dealing with sinus infection, packing for the AOT workshop, and a funeral today. So.
Oh yeah, I know. Bless your heart. But let's just thank GCB for coming on because I needed someone else to do this topic with. And so I don't know what I just did. I don't know what that is. So we're just going to move on. If I can't pronounce where this took place, I'm in trouble because, well, first event we're talking about is news from my camp. So that would be bad. But Samuel H. Poe Camp held their annual turkey shoot fundraiser this past weekend. And that was a couple weekends ago. We had to take a break off last week. But the fundraiser was a huge success. The camp raised funds for various projects that we're doing. We passed out Southern to vendors, and our camp commander, my father, spoke with a lot of participants about the SCV and potentially joining and what we are. So I loved the event. It went down smoothly, great. It's going to help us do the projects we were doing, including the scholarship for a couple years. I mean, it did great. So we had the Army of Trans-Mississippi in the chat. Welcome, guys. Glad you're here. Charles Loray is in the chat. Cousin Vinny, always a great supporter. Thank you for being on, my brother.
From now on, when Vinny mentions veganism, that's automatically a strike. Go ahead. So for a little behind the scenes thing, we have certain words that will automatically that we plugged in that will automatically notify Moose to ban somebody.
Mm-hmm.
We're adding veganism. That's a sin against mankind.
Anything. Anything. So be careful. Next bit of news comes from Florida. I love Florida. They always send a lot of great stuff in. If I can put the picture up. There it is.
Private. You want me to read it?
No, there's a lot to this. I don't know if you saw it. I don't know if you can.
Go ahead.
In the private chat, but I got the whole list. I prepared for this one. The private William Riley Milton Camp of 741 of the 8th Brigade in the Florida Division had its monthly meeting on March 8th. This Saturday, March 12th, Camp 741 began its 8th year in partnership with the here it comes Maroon Dragoons and the city of Oka. I said Oka right because he spelled it out for me. During cemetery preservation and cleaning up the works at Elf Green Cemetery, work began there at 8 a.m. and goes until we're tired. So much respect to y'all. And everything we provided, you just have to show up. I know that's probably promoting what y'all did, but what y'all were going to do when you sent that in, Victor. But thank you for providing it. Also Saturday was Chaplain Victor Smith's birthday. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, Victor. But happy from here, from everybody here at Look Around the Confederation in the chat. Hope you had a great one, other than the tornado. That was not pleasant, but I said it wrong. I said
Yeah.
no, Victor. You didn't
So
put the E in there.
Marion and
Mary.
Ocala.
He
Marion and Ocala. So good
put
job,
the E.
Moose. 2 for 2.
In my defense, Victor did not put the E in the email. In my defense. Uh, Connor's just looking at me. All right, some great news coming out of Alabama, though. What am I doing?
I'm gonna slap you. I'm gonna slap you when I see you Saturday.
Fair enough. I deserve slapping at this rate. Some news coming out of Alabama. All this news goes around the same camp, but I wanted to break it down because it's very good news. So the Alabama division chartered a new camp in Bladen County.
Blunt County, Alabama. The Captain William Graves Camp 805. The first camp in Blunt County, Alabama, was the Captain William Graves Camp 805, chartered in 1917.
Yeah, so always good to see. I'm glad that y'all starting the camp back up. Sorry for butchering y'all's county. Sorry for everybody. I always butcher everything up. Blame Connor and Candyman for putting me on the news show where I had to talk about everybody's hometowns and everything. So, but yeah, no, it's always good to see the stuff like that happen. Always love to see it. And of course, starting up a camp that was chartered in 1917 is awesome. The Samuel H. Poe camp did that. We got rechartered in the 90s, but we were earlier camp just like y'all. And so I love to see that history continuing on the legacy of that camp and continuing to protect the Confederate soldiers' good name. So great for y'all. They also had a ceremony, a charting ceremony. So let's see here. There it is.
If anybody would like to send in any type of funds via stars, we will be getting Moose hooked on phonics for Christmas. Charting ceremony was held Tuesday night at the 8th, Tuesday night the 8th, excuse me, I don't have my glasses on, at the Bluntsville Historic Park, Bluntsville, Alabama, that's in Blunt County, at the site where General Nathan Bedford Forrest captured A.D. Strait on May 3rd, 1863. And just like Carl said, we're proud of our compatriots in Blunt County. They're a bunch of hardworking fellows that will be a great addition to the SCV.
Thank you very amen to that. Here's a picture of the group at that event later on tonight. Later on that night, they also had Alabama Division Commander there, and he passed out certificates, and they had a great event. So happy to see that y'all have rechartered. Happy to see that y'all are back with us, and happy to see y'all, if y'all have any new members, happy to have everybody there in the fold. Next event, we actually have a poster promoting event. So let me pull that up.
The 42nd Annual Battle of Pleasant Hill, that is going to be April the 8th through Sunday, April the 10th. Again, I do not have my glasses on, but y'all can see the schedule of events there. I believe that's in Pelican, Louisiana. I may be wrong. I may be right. Who knows?
You don't have to read it. I was about to tell everybody that when you send a poster in, we need that. Please send posters in for your events because we will post on our page the posters. So everybody gets the needed information so they can attend the event if they want to and have all the information accordingly. So
I've always wanted to do that event. It's just I've always got a scheduling conflict. But I hear tell that there's a certain legend that sometimes plays the drums there. I don't know. I also heard that Todd Dida, I haven't seen him in the chat yet, portrays a surgeon. So yeah. Miss Linda Gramling, Mama Gigi, says that if you're a sutler and you're interested, get in touch with her for Pleasant Hill. It's usually a pretty good turnout from what I can see from the pictures. So,
well, please Gigi, please send us some stuff in, some pictures, and I cannot wait to talk about it and see how well it went. Hello, Casey. How are you?
You wanna read that?
I think I can
Pleasant
take this.
Hill.
Pleasant
Are
Hill is
you
the
sure?
largest valley west of the Mississippi River. Thank you, smart aleck. Come Hill. No, it is an Undertaker.
Well, that's hey, Chuck Mack. I will say this: him as an Undertaker is a lot more reassuring than him as a doctor. Um, I'm afraid that with Todd being a doctor, I would need an Undertaker.
You probably would. All right. Some good news coming out of Louisiana. They participated in the Mardi Gras parade in Jefferson, Texas. What? Oh, my bad. Oh my gosh, I'm all over the place. They participated in a Mardi Gras parade in Jefferson, Texas, on February 26th. So they sent in
Was
a.
the camp at least out of Louisiana?
I think so, but I don't think they also sent anything in. So, like to tell me where they were.
Good.
One
Well,
second.
Jefferson, Texas. They
No,
usually have an event
they're
over
from
there.
Texas.
So good news out of Louisiana. A group of Texans marched in the Texas Mardi Gras parade. Good job, Moose.
Tonight is going swell. Swell. Can I resign from the show? Or am I going to get
No.
fired from the show? It's the more correct statement to ask.
You're doing a great job, buddy.
Yeah, tonight's going great, everybody.
There were members of the Louisiana and Texas division, so
Oh, thank you, Chuck.
can't drag you too much.
I count that as a win. But the same camp also had they starred. Yeah.
They installed two VA markers on unknown Confederate soldiers' graves. That was the W.W. Hartsville Camp number 2042 out of Marshall, Texas, which that should be relatively, I say new, within the last decade or so. My camp's 2278, so that's 22 something.
Thank you, Gigi. No more. The bad thing is I don't drink, so there's a challenge right there already. And so, yeah, yeah, it's been a great day. Uh,
Carl, you ought to bring Sam this weekend. Me and Moose will both be at the AOT workshop.
uh, let's see here. All right. Well, without further, let's take a quick commercial break. Thank Lord I need a second because obviously my brain's not there at all. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, get into our topic for the night.
What is the
And
topic for the night?
I told you. I asked permission
No,
before doing it, which is great.
no. If you did, I don't remember it.
One more event. Yeah. Okay, 1 second. Let me get all the banners down. All right, so we've talked about this before. The Kirby Smith Confederate Park grand opening is this Saturday, March 19th at 11 a.m. I'll be posting the flyer again on the page. This is an awesome thing that is happening. They're opening up our own park, so that is something we need to support. Make sure they have a good turnout and support it in the future. So happy to see they're doing that. Happy to see that they've got some pretty good promotion out there for it. You got me. And go support it if you can. It is in Jacksonville, Florida. So if you're close to Jacksonville, Florida, yeah, didn't I say it was
Even
this?
you did. I'm just putting it up there as a reminder. Even if you're not near Jacksonville, Florida, you don't have anything else going on. It could be a nice drive, nice weekend for a drive.
Yeah, yeah. Mr. Sean, I believe I already asked you to, But just so I know in my heart that I asked you to do it, if you could please send pictures from that and ask the commander to send pictures from that, so I have kind of both y'all getting some good pictures for us from that event. But
Oh,
without further,
I'm sure Calvin Hart will give us a bunch of good pictures of it.
well, sounds good to me. So without further ado, we're going to take our Pop-Tart break.
It's not
And
Pop-Tart time.
it's close enough. And it is close enough. And please remember that our Pop-Tart break is sponsored by the Confederate Legion. You can go join them or find more information about them at www.makedbcgradient.com or .org. So, yeah, without further ado, let me get it ready, and we'll take a quick commercial break.
There is a place, nestled in the rolling farmland of southern Middle Tennessee. A home, constructed in 1837, nearly lost to the ravages of war. Saved by a servant and a Confederate general. A place where families loved and lost. If walls could talk, what stories could be told? If a place, a home, can feel love, loss, pain, surely this is one of those places. Nearby is a more recent structure, and inside are the stories of heroes and heroines, stories of battles won and lost, stories of sacrifices made by the people of its native soil. A place that will tell the true and complete story of the Southland and the war fought for its freedom. From the causes that led to the conflict to the modern-day struggles to protect Southern history. Historic Elm Springs and the Confederate Museum at Elm Springs are the general headquarters for the Sons of Confederate Veterans. A place where the story of the Southland and its historic struggle is preserved and told. Come and discover your history.
Really? You're gonna put that comment up?
Yeah, I like the
comment. Anyway, before we get started on our what we gonna job about for a little while, do you want to give a really quick take 2 seconds of personal privilege? Are you? Oh, you're eating a Pop-Tart. Good job. One, want to wish a happy birthday to my favorite of Confederate generals, General Patrick Cleburne. Born this day in Cork County, Ireland. You don't know about him? Go read about him. That's all I'm going to say. This weekend is the Patrick Cleburne Birthday Memorial Service up in Helena, Arkansas. J-Bo speaking there. I've got some information that I'm going to send over to Moose, and he'll put it on there. So if you're west of the Mississippi in the ATM and would like to go over there and check it out, go check it out. Also, a big shout out to my stepnephew, Little Spoon. Just wanted to wish him a happy birthday. Young man turns 22 today.
I remember 22.
You're still you're like 23. Shut up.
You have anything else you want to talk about?
I'm knocking on my 30s, and I really want to hit you with a boot.
Well,
that's about it.
I was going to say that's nothing new. So let's go ahead and get into tonight's topic. Jesse said I don't. But we're gonna go ahead and get tonight's topic. I thought it'd be an interesting one. Someone brought these two things to my attention, I think a couple days ago.
I wonder who it was.
You did one, and a page on a Confederate page on Instagram brought my attention to the other. the Franklin Guards page. They posted this originally. It's from the Georgia Division, but I wouldn't have found it unless they posted about it. So, two great things I would like to talk about, and stuff for the future and something to think about, I guess. First, I'll let you talk about this one.
No, you go ahead. I'm messaging Carl really quickly.
Good. So, as I don't know how many of you know, but let's see here. All right. So on the Hill today in Tennessee, a bill was given.
This is yesterday.
A bill to give the bust of Lieutenant General Nathan Bedford Forrest back to the SCV was sent to the House subcommittee today. Adam saw. I saw back to the SCV, and the SCV. Did he have a typo?
What?
I say back.
He might have. You want me to give it a rundown?
No. I got this. Basically, it would give the bus back to the SCV as the SCV paid for the bus when it was installed in the Capitol building in 1978. Let's see here. The bill did fail in committee, but they had a fighter on our side, which is always good. It's hard for us to find people in politics I'll fight. We have a very few number of them that do. It looks like it was Representative Terry Waver. She went to bat for the SCV, and Adam said personally he wants to thank her for all her efforts. So do I. And this is that below is the picture of all the people that turned out for that. So I want to talk about that for a minute. Talk about, we need to. Trying to think of a good word for it because very very easy to step up on this.
Let me know when you're ready to get on. When you're ready for me to get on my concrete soapbox. Hey, Todd.
You can get on at any time.
All right. Thing number one. Now that I'm on the concrete soapbox, is if you are not familiar with the Kennedy twins' book, Dixie Rising, Rules for Rebels, or Rules for Eccles. I can't remember which it is, but it's Dixie Rising. Get a copy. Was the Rules for Rebels?
Yeah.
Sorry. It's not a bad brain.
I'm reading it.
We've done a review on it. We've had the Kennedys come in and talk about it. Guys, if we want our Southland, and this is for everybody, not just members of the SCV or any other heritage organization. This is for all Southerners and all Americans who care to see their history preserved, especially we Southerners as an independent people. Go get the book and read it and start doing what they say do. That's the only way that we're going to win this battle.
Jesse,
we have to think locally and act locally, and it starts with each and every one of us as individual citizens. So get the book, read the book, start implementing it in your own community. Second, as far as the SCV goes, and I've said this till I'm blue in the face, and I will say it again, in 1906, when General Lee gave us the charge, we morphed from simply a fraternal organization to a veterans' rights organization. Just like the VFW, just like the American Legion, just like any other veterans' rights organization that there is out there, we are a veterans' rights organization. Plain and simple. That is part of what we are. And the only way that we can be successful is to grow. And growth is good. We do need to go out there and recruit. Somebody will be saying we need to recruit. That's great. But there's another side to that coin. And it's an important side to that coin. Retention. Retain your members. Get your members active. Get your members, working. Saw a statistic a couple of days ago. Well, first of all, numbers don't lie. There's roughly estimated, let me find my notes on this really quickly. If y'all will excuse me for a second. That's my to-do list. That's my to-do list. That's my to-do
I'm so
list.
happy I invited you on because this is something I definitely wanted to talk about.
Yeah. I cannot find my notes that I had from the other night when I went to speak to the Jackson camp. But there's, I think it's 75 million at the max end potential descendants of the Confederate soldier, sailor, and Marine out there in the world. If we were to assume that half of that number are male, then that number is 37.5 million. Meanwhile, we're nowhere near that number. If we recruited and got out there and recruited and retained and grew stronger and larger bit by bit, we'd be a worldwide organization that could shock fear into people. Furthermore, if we retained our numbers, I believe it's an estimated larger. I think it's 3 times as large of what we have currently on the books. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But here's the thing, guys. That's still that's a good start. It's a drop in the bucket. But it's a good start. Um, my camp, we sometimes have this problem, but every camp does have that I've been a part of has this problem. How many of y'all have members that come get their certificates and leave? How many? How many? I'm not talking about paper members who pay their dues every single year and stay in the books. I'm talking about they come, you see them one time, they get their certificate, they don't come back. Well, Daryl, recruiting is important, but I'm talking about retention. And retention is what we need more than anything. If we have a camp goes and recruits 50 members and then they lose those 50 members, they then have to go out the next year and recruit 100 to make up for the 50 they just lost, as well as growing by 50. We have to retain our membership just as much as recruiting our membership. Retention and recruiting are a 365-day job. And it's something there are millions of things that you can, or not millions, but there are a lot of things that we can do to retain our members. Very first and foremost, give that new member, as soon as he gets his certificate, give him a job within the camp. It could be passing out the cards, telling people how to, the proper pledges and salutes. It could be handing out the newsletter for those who do not. If your camp doesn't have a newsletter, you need to. But handing out the newsletter to those members who don't have that. It could be helping setting up the flags. It could be handing out name cards. It could be 1.5 million, or anything you could think. But give them just a little bit of responsibility so they feel a part of the camp, and that if I'm not there, no one's going to do that job. And if I'm not going to do that job goes undone. You don't have to give them an officer position, although if the potential member does show some type of aptitude to be able to work as an adjutant, put them as an assistant adjutant, do something like that. But we have to make our members feel welcome and coming in to the camp, plain and simple.
And I'll recommend it again at the end, but what we're covering is legit covered in Dixie Rising. We've talked about on the show before, but with the two things we're going to be talking about, the one with Adam that we're discussing right now, and the thing that I'm going to talk about from Georgia, I felt like the conversation deserves to be brought up again because I think past Commander in Chief.
Go ahead.
Right. I believe past Commander in Chief Chuck McMichael said it on the show. A lot of people say that we're about to go back into another war. We're already in one. It's a Cold War for our heritage, for just American heritage in general, not just Southern heritage. They're attacking George Washington, Robert E. Lee. Even the Yankee Empire's savior, Abraham Lincoln, is not safe from them anymore. They're attacking everybody and anybody. And while I don't necessarily have a problem with them attacking a dictator, cold Civil War. I do have a problem with them attacking George Washington. I definitely have a problem with them attacking Robert E. Lee, Jefferson Davis, all our Confederate soldiers and heroes. And
Well, I mean, oh, I'm sorry, Miss.
no, go ahead.
For those who are not familiar with what they're doing, go onto the or Google New York Times 1619 project and read it. Go read it. I mean, that is that's their blueprint because that's their potential curriculum that they want to force down everybody's throat, despite what the Tenth Amendment says about the Department of Education. That's a little tongue-in-cheek jab there. If you're familiar with the Tenth Amendment, it says anything not covered in the Constitution is or expressly given to the federal government in the Constitution is left to the states or its people, and that's where the Department of Education falls in the Constitution. um, but that's what they want to federally mandate from Washington for everybody to have to study, and that's our future of history. And then we'll be brainwashed and dumbed down enough, and it's not a partisan issue. Think well, Moose, you went to private school, but
Yep.
in the public education sector where I came from, ever since 2001, and no school and no child left behind. The importance of the humanities, literature, specifically literature and history, I have a strong, it's been teach the test, don't teach the subject. But when it comes to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, which we need in the modern world, which we do need people to design the bridge, but we need people to build the bridge as well. Um, the uh, the the whole focus on that has been taking it away from it, so that when suddenly an issue like this does arise, people don't think and don't care anymore. Again, that goes up to us on to know our own history and heritage, but also goes back to being a strong camp in your community, so that when people do come and attack, your monument to either your Confederate soldiers, your World War II soldiers, Vietnam soldiers, whomever, when you go and stand up for those monuments and go to protect them, they see those members of the community that are the bedrock of the community. Oh well, these are the guys that are doing X, Y, and Z. And if you're not there doing that, they're going to side with the outsiders more than they're going to side with us. Sorry, Moose. Back to you.
No. And again, this is stuff I want to talk about, and it takes everything. We need those. We need where I was originally. I pitched this as a political thing, but we need everything. The SCV local camps. We have to start hitting the ground harder as we can, as hard as we can. Casey, I brought this comment up a bit ago. He's ran into a lot of toxic members of the SCV. Yes, they're hurting us. Yes, I've ran into them. But, can't really kick them out for being a jerk. And trust me, I've seen new members leave for toxic members all the time, and I hate it. It hurts my heart to see someone pushed away from the SCV because of a toxic member. That hurts because I'm like, they don't represent all of us. I can attest to that. I know a lot of great men in the SCV. I have got the blessing to meet and know a lot of great leaders in the SCV, people I look up to. Connor's a little bit iffy, but
Only
yeah,
on Tuesdays, baby.
only on Tuesdays. But yeah, we have to deal with the toxic members too, and how they're kicking people out. Someone said that they wish we could be on Ben Shapiro's show or Candace Owens. While I'm a fan of those two, they don't particularly like Confederate history well, and they're not open to being taught or to even discussing it. So,
Yeah. Well, and this goes back going back to the point a second ago, and to what the Kennedys have been talking about. Every time the Kennedys come on, or hear Chief Kennedy speaking about, well, why aren't you going on Tucker Carlson? Why we're not invited? And there's a reason why. Why do they bring the NRA on every time that, or bring up the NRA every time that there's a talking about the limitation of rights on the Second Amendment? It's because that is a multi-thousand member organization, 100,000 member organization. Don't know their exact membership number, but that membership that organization has come to signify everything that deals with the Second Amendment, and that's what the SCV should do. Thing is, we have to have the same. We have to have the numbers of members how to do it. The second thing is, that's kind of what SCV chat is here for. Is when we can't get fair press, good press, we are the press. So
Exactly.
keep tuning in here.
Shameless plug. But yeah, I mean,
yeah, no shameless about it.
Yeah.
Really quickly, go ahead, Miss. I'm gonna look for this comment while you're doing that.
All right. Well, Chuck McMichael's right. They are conservatives. They can be our friends in a lot of matters that a lot of conservatives hold dear to their heart. But they're still Yankees. They still don't understand Southern heritage. They still don't understand real history because our enemies have been
They
doing.
They don't understand. For the most part, they don't understand our culture. That is the culture of the South. I've got some friends who've moved down here from up north who I work with. That are, as far as principles go, we share the same principles, except when it comes down to things of our culture and our heritage down here. Because without our culture, we would not have our heritage. Our culture makes us who we are as a people, just as much as our heritage makes us who we are as a people. And they just don't get it. It's something that is multi generational, something that's born and bred into you, something that you have to live through and understand. And we can talk about, till we're blue in the face, explaining our culture, explaining, things of that nature. But until you live amongst it and experience it, you're not going to understand it. Plain and simple. Continue, Moose.
But yeah, I mean, and two, right now, with everything going on, our enemies have been planting the seeds for this and teaching wrong history for a good number of years now.
Since at least 1993.
Yeah, I mean,
Hey, Paul Gramling, in the chat, when was that resolution you always start your speeches with passed? You know the one I'm talking about. And that's really when the Cold War began.
Yeah, and here's the thing: our people, we have not started fighting it until really. It's been since it's gotten bad, like bad enough where a lot of the members started to notice. There's always been people that noticed this was the direction we were headed, but I would say the vast majority of our membership, including me, including a lot of kids I grew up with who are not SCV members, but they're proud Southerners, we didn't see that coming until it happened a couple years ago, and it hit us like a freight train. Because I remember
6 years ago.
I remember in my private school having a battle flag. I have an Army of Northern Virginia flag up in my bedroom at my house. And I occasionally took it off to campus. And yeah, I went to a private school. Big difference, I know. But I carried it through town. I wore SCV shirts all the time. And I mean, you never thought about it. And now, especially with kids my age, who are just scared crapless, like the majority of my generation, around my age, that believe me, but they're not going out to fight, it's because they're scared. And that's a good thing the enemy has done. They've scared my generation that are with us to the point where they don't want to join. It's got to the point where a lot of kids my age have. Hey, have you deleted the Confederate flags from your Facebook page? No. Why are you asking? Well, I'm about to go for a job interview, and I'm being told by everybody that I need to take them off for my safety, so I can get that job. And so, this attack is
so
running.
Much for the 14th. So much for the First Amendment and the 14th Amendment.
Yeah, yeah. Paul Gramblin, that's his comment. I'll let you take it from there.
And well, that's when I was talking about Paul, 1991. Couldn't remember if it was 91 or 93. Um, but that, and just like Chuck Mack said a couple comments before, that it's been going around since the 90s and hit warp speed since 2015, and that's the truth. I mean, you study the history of the struggles that happened from 1991 up until at least heritage battles up until 2015, and things were in the early or from 91 to about 2000 and so 2001, things were heated up. You had people going after the flag that was on the dome in Charleston, South Carolina, and then it was a compromise. Oh, we'll put the flag outside the state house. Okay. They came after the Georgia state flag and the spineless people and politicians, which I'm gonna pause at the word politicians. Uh, you know, poly. If you break down the word, poly is Greek word for many, and ticks are blood-sucking animals. So it's many ticks or insects, not animals. Excuse me. Anyway, the politicians in Georgia changed their state flag to the blue banner that had all the old flags of Georgia on, and then they eventually came back with the first national state flag. They came after Mississippi, and Mississippi held, and then it kind of died down until 2015. And at least from what I've seen, there were some smaller cases about T-shirts in school and stuff like that. But in 2011, I don't remember hearing about any major calls for monuments to be removed. In 2013, I don't remember hearing that. I mean, they came out with some very negative movies, Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter and stuff like that. But it wasn't nearly as what we saw amped up since 2015 and continuing to this day.
And it's getting
Um,
worse every
you know,
year.
it,
They're
and,
trying.
and it is.
They have no
Um,
fear now.
and it is. Yeah, and so is I, Mama Gremlin. Um, Still got my original T-shirt from 2001 Flag Fight. It don't fit, but I got it. Um,
Dad carried me around
but
with a petition. I was 2, and Dad had petitions that he served that he would
yes.
carry me with.
But the thing is, we're in this, and we're in this Cold War, but we need to start getting out there. Now, one question was what was raised, where do we go with what we've got now? And the thing is, we take what we've got and we build on it. If you've got members, if you have a camp and you've got folks that are in your camp that are wanting to do things a different way, A, let them hear them out. But B, I've made this analogy for years, and a lot of people don't like this analogy being down here in the Bible Belt. But when you go to southern towns, you'll see that there's a First Baptist, Second Baptist, Third Baptist, Grace Baptist, this Baptist, and umpteen jillion Baptist churches. And what would happen is, somebody would split off from that church. We have several. My county has three different camps for different members. My camp offers this, the other camp offers that, the other camp offers something else. We work together when we need to. Like the flag petitions that we had here in Mississippi. But you can. There's no rule stating that you cannot have only just one camp in that community. And if that's the case, if you have multiple camps in your community, do joint projects, do joint things. The more that we're out there in the public eye, the more that we're working together, as at least as membership, the better that we are, the more people will see and want to get involved in something. And like I said, as far as retaining those members that we have, make sure you're not just eating, meeting, and retreating. Get involved with something. I've been saying this for years. I think every community
Unity.
has, little league football, little league soccer, little league baseball. Sponsor a little league team. Heck,
Yes.
you can't get any more wholesome than that.
Agreed. I've talked about on the show a lot of times to get involved in the community. I think even Donnie has talked about getting involved, not necessarily as the SCV, because we can't get involved politically. We're a nonprofit organization.
Yeah, we can get involved as long as it's dealing with our issues.
Okay.
However, there are more issues that touch our day-to-day lives than just Confederate heritage issues. And you can get involved in those organizations as an individual citizen.
Hmm.
And every community has their social and civic organizations. Your SCV camp should have somebody who is a member of the Rotary Club that goes to the Rotary Club and is your contact in the Rotary Club. You should have somebody that has membership in the Masonic Lodge. I'm not saying that you should, but I mean more than likely you have somebody. Not that you shall, but more than likely you should have somebody in there that's in your Masonic Lodge, local Masonic Lodge. Get them involved. That's your reach out there. Vast majority of our members are veterans themselves. Okay, boom, there you go. You think about all the different things that you have ties to in your everyday life. You need to be working with them.
Hmm. And
Yeah, and
that's
that's the other thing. We can't back candidates.
all right. Well, here's the thing I want to talk about. And now this goes back to all that, so I'm glad that we kind of shifted this way for just a second, and then we can move on to wherever we see fit. Getting involved in your community. I think Mr. Donnie's been on the show a lot and talked about we have to get politicians to respect us again. Scare them. Yeah, I think he said scare them, didn't he? Making
We got
sure
to
I'm
get
not
them scared.
making sure I'm not misquoting is what I'm doing. But like the representative in Tennessee, we need to encourage more people to stand with us on those issues. Do that as yourself. You don't have to be an SCV member to do that. And to be honest, it's probably better for you to do it as yourself. Hey, my name is Harrison. I'm concerned about the Confederate monument in my hometown. I'm concerned about the teachings in my schools. That's how you got to do it. And that goes back to, I think I showed GCB this earlier, but something I
Nope.
love something I love to see is that the Georgia Division adjutant is running state senate. That is huge. And it's something that I do like to see. And that might be what it has to take on some levels is us getting more involved.
Well, it is what's going to have to take on, that's a good point, Miss. I've got some friends in the House of Representatives and in the Senate that are friendly to us. But it's at the end of the day, how friendly they are is not. It's nice that they're friendly, but it's better if they're in the ranks.
Yeah. Because,
England was friendly with the Confederacy during 1861 to 1865. They sent a lot of stuff over here for profit. In this case, it'd be the votes. But they never. Last time I checked, there wasn't a full British battalion that was sent over here to, help. I mean, and that's what it's going to take is us having guys in the ranks
yeah. And
in
look,
those positions. Moose.
I've talked privately, between some of my friends and I who have similar values. Now, of course, this is just a couple of kids, shooting the bull. But, we want to get involved in stuff like that. One of us even joked about running for state senate. But, you talk about having friends there. But as you said, we have some friends in the state, represent in the House and in the Senate. But yet, there wasn't a lot of opposition to the flag vote this past time around. Not saying there wasn't. I'm just saying that some of those friends, if like, I can say this
Well,
because even
our
my
friends,
own
our
state.
friends were out. Well, I was gonna say our friends were outnumbered, plain and simple, and those that were on the board didn't give a hoot one way or the other. Were coerced into it in Mississippi, at least. They
Well,
were
yeah,
they were threatened. You vote this way or else. Um, but my thing on it is Mr. Moose goes to Washington. God help us. Um,
no, if anything, I'll stay at the state
he, he
level to counter grievances.
Doug, he probably does not even get the reference. Um, but the thing is, it would be different if the friendly members of the House and Senate and it doesn't matter whether it's the Commonwealth of Virginia or the sovereign state of Mississippi, um, or any state in between. It's nice to have those friends, but it's a lot better to have those people who are in ranks with you. I mean, if suddenly we had uh 15 guys upholding the same charge in the whatever branch of government, um, you know, that would change things extremely.
Oh yes, and again,
Amen. Amen, Chuck Mack.
yeah, yeah. But like what I was saying is, yeah, I agree. We need to have more people that are in our ranks that are doing that. That they believe in the charge just like we do. We're brothers. You can trust them. Like for example, I had a state senator give me their word. They ran with the 1894 flag on their signs to vote for them. And when the time came to shove, he voted against my flag. And he has yet to respond to
Well,
any of my emails or trying to reach out to him. He knows who I am. He knows my family's last
well,
name.
well, I mean, and I'm waiting on something to come out of the governor's office right now, or I throw him completely under the bus. But he ran on that as well.
Yeah,
Um, and when push came to shove, that's what pushed things over the limit. Um, but it is what it is. We can't go back and change the past because if we could, Robert E. Lee would get a handful of digitalis, a couple of stronger rifles, and a pair of Reebok's tennis shoes. Um, but one thing we could do is work now to influence and make our future a better way than it has to be.
yeah.
No, Victor. Victor, I belong to a certain third party, and we can't get our stuff together even on the local level.
You know, for example, a lot of people ask me, especially a lot of close friends of mine or even some family members, why are you so involved in the SCV at your age? It could risk your future employment, risk you getting a job even, and that's crazy to say for Mississippi, but that's the world I'm living in. And
Oh, yeah.
why not wait till you're 50, about to retire? You don't really have to worry, you know, pissing the wrong people off. That's when you can fight for your heritage, and we agree with you fighting for your heritage. And my thing is the reason that I'm fighting right now is I don't want my kids, my grandkids, and any future generations of mooses in the great state of Mississippi or the South in general to have to go through or have to watch their heritage be destroyed in front of them, like I've had to.
Well, two things. One, the plural form of moose is moose. Second, um, second, the if you wait 30 years, if we wait 30 years, or let's see, you're 23, so somebody do the math, 27 years, there will be no heritage left to defend.
Amen. Thank you.
I mean, and here's another thing. When I ran for division commander, everybody said stuff about my youth and things like that. Does anybody know how old Stephen D. Lee was when he took divisional command?
No, not off the top of my head.
He was, he was about 27, 26, 27.
Hmm.
You know, you think about those kids of VMI, which, you know, that's something else that needs to be addressed on a different episode.
Yeah.
You know, the field of lost shoes, as young as 14. You know, there's a reason why our minimum age of joining is 12. You know, these aren't, you know, everybody thinks because it's so ingratiated, the picture of the old Confederate veteran, you know, sitting on the porch in his UCV uniform, or the paintings of the Confederate soldiers who, you know, were there at the end of the war. Uh, for a lot of them, they were young.
Hmm.
I mean, and that's my thing. If they could do it 160 years ago, why can't we do it now? Not
Amen.
saying that you know our older members don't have anything to add into it. There towards the end of the war, there were older members in there as well. It's just we have to do it, and sometimes it feels like we're preaching to the choir here, because on the whole, our members that watch SCV chat are trying to get involved or look around the Confederation or are involved on the levels wherever they can be. But it's up to you guys who are watching who want to hear this message preach to those guys to share it. Plain and simple. Share it. Share it around your camp. My camp has started putting in a plug every episode or every newsletter, you know, reminding our folks to watch it. Um, you know, I think our division newsletter has it in there. Guys, you got to share it. You got to put our information out there if you're agreeing with what we're saying and you think more people need to hear it.
I got two I want to address real quick. Someone said wokeism is peer pressure. Uh, as someone who is, you know, kind of at the forefront of trying to get bullied out of my heritage daily in college and in my future career by just everybody, it is not just peer pressure. It is plain old blackmail at times. Like, you won't have a career here. You won't be able to provide for your future family. You won't be able to have a way to sustain life. You won't have a job. And peer pressures, yes, it has a lot to do with it, but wokeism and what they're doing to my generation is a lot worse than they're legit trying to change their heritage and their way of life, and they're doing it by just full on blackmail and bullying them down to it, almost beating a lot of people to the pulp to where they get numb of it. They just want to move on with their life. I have a
Well,
friend that
go ahead.
I have a friend that wanted to join the SCV for a long time. I think talked about this story on here before, and he was I finally talked to him about joining, and he was engaged. He was a senior in college. I think about to be married actually, or either that or he was just married, and like his wife told him, his wife told him that she was pregnant, and his switch flipped. Dude, I can't do that because I have a kid coming on the way now, and I am about to get a job in a public sector, and I can't risk it. And that's the fear drove him away. Someone said, "Tell him just watch me." Look, that's what I'm telling him. I personally am doing that, but I also understand the people that don't, because the just watch me thing, yeah, that's good. But if I go to college for 4 years so I can teach and have an education master, and then I can't get a job in education, what am I doing? So there's a lot of things. Oh, they're just too scared, and this is something I want to talk about for a while. Chuck says it's exploration.
No,
So,
no, don't try to use big words. That word's extortion. And it's more than just extortion. It's more than just blackmail. It's subjugation. All cancel culture and wokeism is the same type of subjugation that happened during the first period of the first half of Reconstruction, because it really hasn't left. It's the same thing, but instead done 100% on a public scale, done by a government. It is done by private citizens. Again, views and opinions are expressly mine, not anybody else's. But it's the same subjugation that happened in the 18 late 1860s, second half of that decade, and it's still going on to today. You know, you have to hang your head in shame because you fought for the Confederacy and you lost. Well, you have to hang your head in shame because you are a Southern man. Your ancestor fought for the Confederacy and you're proud of that. No, you should hang your head in shame. And no, it is the same type of subjugation that we have been under for the past 160 some odd years, plain and simple.
And look, I'm not saying for my generation not to fight. I am fighting. I am putting my face out there. Literally, my face is on almost every episode of SCV Chat. Look Around the Confederation. It wouldn't take long to find I'm an SCV member. I'm taking that risk. GCB's the same way. He's a young guy.
You want to talk about my risk? I'm on one of the recruiting commercials. I'm on during the flag fight. I did 8 or 9 different interviews with local media. That I think one was picked up by national media. I was on a PBS documentary. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I was on a private documentary. You know, but here's the thing. You know, I've been beat down and told I'm wrong by my own government, by people who, the education departments, and I'm tired of it.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's time to take my stand for Dixieland. And if that stand lasts, another 25 years, or if it lasts 25 months or 25 days, at the end of it, when I go home and I see, and I see my ancestor who lost an eye at Shiloh, who then went home and re-enlisted and served the rest of the war under Bedford Forrest, and I see his younger brother, the youngest of the 7 brothers, who killed himself because of PTSD, what I believe is PTSD. When I see his other brother that died up in Virginia without meeting his son, when I see the countless other Confederate veterans and U.S. veterans, when I see them up there, I will know that I did my all for them because they did their all for me.
Yeah, and see, that's why me and you are fighting. What I was trying to say is, the guy that I couldn't get to join the SCV, me and him are still friends to this day, and he still agrees with me on a lot of things. And I have no hate for what he had to do, for what he felt like for his family. And someone said, "Don't teach, go independent." It's first, talking from my standpoint, I want to teach. I want to teach that next generation real history. But I don't think a lot of SCV members understand why my generation's so skittish, and they look at the few exemptions like me and Connor to how the whole generation should be. And I was just trying to say, and we'll move on from this topic because I have other things I want to discuss. But I think we need to try to understand how it's coming from their point of view. That I might not get a job. I'm in student debt. I have things to pay off. I have a wife. I have a child on the way, or just trying to start your life in general. And no offense to a lot of the SCV members out there, and it's probably going to rub people the wrong way. Connor, feel free to stop me if you want to. But a lot of SCV members, over 80% of our members, I would say, are either retired, about to
The
retire.
average age of membership, yeah, the average age of membership is about 55 years old. But again, I am gonna stop you. It's when you're starting out in life and you've been just beat down and whittled down and knocked down so much because of who you are, because of what you are. It's to the point you have to decide whether it's easier to just get beat down or stand on up. Not saying that your friend was beat down by any means, way, shape, or form. Don't know the gentleman, but I mean, when push came to shove, he had to make that decision. And we all have those decisions to make in life. It's just, that's what he chose, and in the future he may come in, and I pray that he does. I hope that, when he gets established in life, he can do that. Oh, but that's just the decision that he made. That's the decision that we
Oh yeah.
made. There's nothing, that's just, the choices. That's where we are. Um, and one thing I wanted to address really quickly about Carl, about our own need for an underground economy, so to speak. I'll call you after the stream and see exactly what you meant, good buddy. But that's one thing we're trying to do here in Mississippi is actually go and find out. Okay, so Dixie Farms LLC sells cattle.
Yes.
Which, if you need to go buy a cow and you're near Mississippi, you check out Dixie Farm LLCs, or they sell hunting dogs, or they do a lot of stuff. Okay, so we've got that contact. Shop at that contact.
Mhm.
Um, we've got a guy over here who has his own mechanic shop. He's a SCV member. Okay, we're going to advertise that he's a SCV member. Spend our money with our people. I mean, that's one. You want to help getting a little bit of independence. Spend your money with our people. Think about the members of your camp. Think about how many guys in your camp have their own businesses. What they do, whether it's an insurance agent like a good buddy of mine in Alabama is, or whether he's a mechanic or a house painter, or raises cattle, raises pigs, something. And instead of, you may spend a little extra money, but you're helping a compatriot out,
Mhm.
and getting that little bit of economic freedom and independence for our people will allow them to stand up a little bit stronger and taller. And also, if he's at the coffee club and said, "Yeah, business is booming," all the guys from the SCV, or my local camp, are starting to shop for me because they know that I'm a member of the SCV. Don't you think that the people in the coffee club are going to be thinking, "Huh, maybe I should do that too? Then maybe that'll increase my business." Money always talks. Money
Money
talks in
does.
politics. Money talks everywhere else. Um, just like the folks at Catfish Campus. They uh they
Yep.
still they still talk about us, and they're remembering that we're coming on May 7th for the Kentucky Derby party after the National Pilgrimage at Elm Springs.
Oh
Remember,
yeah.
May 7th, Elm Springs.
Remind
I
me to make a
plugged it.
promotion for that. I keep forgetting to do that.
Yeah, I can get on Canva this weekend.
I was about to say you can do it. You're so good with it. That was basically me trying to get out of that assignment. But we talked about a lot of great things tonight. I think we had a great conversation. Personally, I hope y'all do as well. Again, everything we kind of discussed tonight, everything we feel like needs to be a battle plan for Confederate the 21st century on how to fight this old Civil War we in is Dixie Rising. I'm posting the link in the chat one more time. If you can, please get the book. Please. I'm reading it right now, and I'm loving it.
Hold on, Miss. Get the book, read the book, and take what you learn and
Hmm.
apply it to your everyday life. Get on board with the Confederate Legion and what the Kennedy boys have been doing since past Commander in Chief Paul Strain's administration. Get on there. Share their
Hmm.
page, share their videos, share our videos, invite your friends. When you're at your local camp meeting and somebody gets a certificate, great. Get his phone number, and for the next 3 months, drive him to the camp meeting if you've got to. Do
Yes.
something, recruit members, retain members. Let's grow this organization. Let's get strong. God save the
Perfect.
South.
God save the South. And yeah, thank you
Like
everybody
me,
for
you see,
tuning
I've
in.
seen about 10 to 20 years.
Yeah, yeah. Let's come back and rewatch this and season 20 of SCV Chat and see how far we've got. Connor looks so sad.
Uh,
17 more
uh,
years, Connor. 17 more years, man.
yeah.
Let's come back in a couple in 10, 20 years and say we stood up for the South when times were tough. We fought the hard fight in this Cold War. We did what we did.
One
We can hold our heads high.
One more thing. We've mentioned it. Moose and I will be at the AOT workshop this weekend, right, Moose?
Yes.
If you paid attention to the last time there was an AOT workshop, we kind of streamed it.
Hint, hint.
So there may you weren't there. It was me and Matt. So who knows whether we'll for sure have something going live on Saturday. Don't know if it'll be that or not, but I gotta prove that with Commander Hill when I see him tomorrow. So tune in, share.
Yes. Please share this video. If you can't support us on Facebook, please go support us on YouTube. And remember, as a last going out for tonight, if not us, who? And if not now, when? Stay Southern, my friends, and rare frop.
Rare frop.